Hi everybody, today we're going to be looking at Microsoft Outlook, the online 365 version for those that are using this particular version as opposed to the full function desktop version of Microsoft Office, which incorporates Microsoft Outlook. What you need to be aware of in this version of Outlook is it's actually designed to be used on devices. For example, you may have this on your Apple phone, for example, or your Surface device, and the fact that it's been designed for such devices means that they've actually essentially condensed it or made it more compact in terms of the size, so that it can obviously fit on your device. And in doing that, some of the features that are less common, shall we say, or not as important, have been left out on this version. So that's the one main difference that we need to be aware of. The full desktop version of Microsoft Outlook, being designed for more corporations, obviously contains a lot of other different features that are more relevant to corporate or business user. That's the first thing. The second thing is the layout also has changed. So the layout's been designed in such a way that it's easy to navigate through when you're using a portable device such as a phone. So whereas if you're using the desktop version, and no doubt you've looked at our exercises on the desktop version, you'll see that you've got your toolbars at the top, and you've got various other functionality that is typical to a desktop version program. So they're the first two things that I want you to note. So what I'll do is I'll talk as we're going through the process, and I'll get my colleague Ben to actually go through the steps or the functionality as I describe and discuss. But first things first, I'm imagining that you've already created an Outlook account. So if you haven't, you need to visit outlook.com and create yourself an account. Once you've done that, we'll look at how to sync your account so that you know what to do there. So essentially, you go to the cog up here, right hand side, to settings, and then from settings you type in sync, and then you go to connect accounts, and depending on what type of account you have, let's assume here that you've got a Gmail account, and you type in the name that you wish to appear. So for example, if you want to put your first name, in this case Ben's going to put his first name, and you want to create a Google account. As you can see, the first one's selected, and we want to create a new folder for your emails and subfolders. When you click OK, we take into the Google sign up page. And then here you've got your accounts that have already been designed and been created on this computer. So Ben's just chosen his one, and now he's going to sync that, or he's going to associate that email account with this particular program. So this is if you've already got an existing. You have to actually create an existing email account first, obviously, in order for this to work, in order for it to sync. So you can see here now it's been all synced and updated. So that's essentially how to add an email account, tutorial 1. Tutorial 2, we're going to be looking at creating an email. So you can see here now that once he's created or synced his email account, you'll see that it appears here, and underneath that you've got your folders that are relevant to that particular email account. Okay, so we go to new messages. This is to create a new email. And here we're just going to practice a basic email. He's going to send the email address to let's see what he ends up typing in. The works for you test email address. now he's going to put in the subject just the purpose of the email, and then he's going to copy and paste some information that he already has just to test this functionality. And then after he's done that, he'll hit the send button over here, top left. I'll just answer his phone call. Welcome back, guys. So what we've done so far is we've sent the test email, and now what we're going to do is we're going to practice the forward, the reply features. Now, be aware that how this works or what the purpose of it is. So once you've received an email, for example, if you want to respond back to the person who sent you an email, if you simply hit the reply button, which is what Ben just did a moment ago, automatically it puts the person that you're sending an email to in the address box, the email address box. And so essentially all you have to do now is just type out your reply and hit send. So that's what the reply button does. Ben just typing out a typical reply message after he's received an email, and then it's just a matter of just hitting send again. Okay, so that's the reply. The other function is forward. So let's just assume that you've received an email from someone and you want to forward it across to somebody else. So let's say you feel that it's someone else within your organization who can better answer this person. If you hit the forward button, right, and then just type in or find the person's email address that you want to forward it to, what will happen is below the email, right, you'll still see the details of who sent the email and all the correspondence. So the person now receiving that email can have a look at the history of the email, and then they know what to do with the email in terms of who they should get back to, whether it's yourself, you'll forward it to them, or whether they need to get back to the original person who sent the email across. So that's what forwarding the email is all about. So just send that, and now it's forwarded across. What else do we have? Okay, so there's 3 little dots that you can see there. Has additional features. You can delete the emails. You can flag the emails, which is what we're going to be creating in a moment. So we're going to cover all that. So those 3 little dots on your right hand side of the email is quite important. It gives you essentially the different functions that are appropriate, creating rules, which is what we're going to create later on as well. So that's all good. Okay, so now we're going to practice tutorial 3, writing an email and adding a signature. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go to settings again, top right hand side, that little cog, and I'm going to type in signatures or email signature, one or the other, and then it gives you the screen of where to go in order to create your signature. So we're going to create a basic signature here. Good. Right, so that's Ben's signature. Very nice. He's going to now save that, all right, as an email signature, and he's going to now close that by hitting that little tick, that little cross. So now when he goes into new messages, right, to compose a new message, he can now add his signature. And so if he hits those three little dots once again, and then hits insert signature, that signature that he's created automatically appears. So that's good. So part of that exercise is for you to create that signature and then type out the body of that text that you see. And then what we've done is we've obviously already typed it out, so we're just going to now copy and paste that into our email. And the whole purpose of this exercise, tutorial 3, is just for you to practice how to create a proposal, an email, and add a signature. And what I suggest you do is, once you've done that, if you want to choose an email destination or someone that you can actually send this email to within your household, for example, if no one is available, maybe you can just send us an email to our test email address, and then we can reply back to you to let you know that we've received your email. So you can use our test email if you like to just practice what you're doing. Our test email address, as you can see on your screen, is worksforyoutest@outlook.com. Okay, so that's what you see on the video. So Ben's going to now send that. No, we'll add a signature then. Yeah. Oh, sorry, a subject. So the subject of this email is going to be Max's Deli Customer Service. Now, subject is quite important. The reason why that message appeared is because if you don't put a subject in your email, a lot of the times the person that you're sending the email to, the program will automatically pick that up as a junk email, and it will be put into the junk email folder, and your recipient, or the person you're sending the email to, will never see your email. It'll go into the junk folder, and you're imagining that they've received it, and they have received it, but it's gone into that folder, and most people tend not to analyze that folder. That's why it's important to use a subject. And also, if you don't use a subject and the person's receiving lots of emails, they're going to be less inclined to see the importance of looking at your email as well. Whereas if they see in the subject the purpose of your email, they're going to be more inclined to open the email to see what it's all about. So we'll send that now. And as you can see in the inbox, that's automatically now come across. So Ben's using his own email address here, and you can see the body of the email and the signature down the bottom there. So that's all working well, working out fine. Now we'll look at creating contacts, scheduling tasks and meetings as well. So the people, that little people symbol down the bottom is where you need to go in order to create contacts. So essentially what we're doing here is we are looking at, just checking to see how we, okay, so we've got 30 minutes, keep going, yep. Okay, so we're going to be looking at creating some contacts within our email. So contacts are basically cards that are used in Outlook to store your contacts, so that for the benefit of this, and as Ben does this, I'll discuss it. The purpose of having contacts is so that you can keep a log of people that are important, and what it enables you to do is quickly find their details and quickly reply to their emails, because you've got all their contact details in front of you. So what you need to do, if you can just backtrack, Ben, if you don't mind. So Ben was in the inbox section, and what he did was he clicked on the people there, and that brought him to this page, the new contacts page. And so this essentially, it's very similar, but at the top there you've got new contacts. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to put a new contact in. Now, as you can see, my details are already there. So he's going to create one now for himself. benefit of having contacts too is that when you create rules and whatnot in Outlook, you can actually create those for your contacts as well. So if, for example, email comes across, if you for example believe that a certain person is important and you want to receive their emails automatically, you can create a rule to direct those emails coming in across or that contact into a certain folder. So it enables some advanced functionality. So that's a basic completion of one of our contacts. We'll now create that. Okay, so as you can see here, that contact's been created. Good. So it's quite straightforward. Next we're going to be looking at the calendar. So that's that little icon down the bottom there. And the calendar is quite important as well because you can put in meetings, anything that you need to do on a certain day. If you have a look at the more extensive video that we created on Microsoft Outlook on the calendars, that will give you more of an explanation as to the importance of calendars and so forth. But we'll give you just a quick snapshot on this version, what it looks like. It's very, very similar. So we hit New Events, and we'll give it a title. Now, this event's going to be happening today, as you can see at 7 AM. Let's change the time to another time. Let's choose this afternoon sometime. If we choose 7, it had already passed, so there's no point in that. Let's do 5 o'clock. And this meeting's going to go for half an hour. And we can put a location in Bin Parramatta. And let's just assume here that every Tuesday at this particular time this meeting takes place. So in the repeating, we can actually change that and put every week. So automatically in your calendar, it's going to appear this meeting is going to be scheduled every week. Sorry, every Tuesday. Sorry, every Wednesday. I'm getting my days mixed up here. Every Wednesday, except it's got here. Sorry, it's got here until December 23rd, and the reminder is going to happen 15 minutes prior to this meeting. So it's going to a reminder is going to pop up telling us that we've got a meeting. So that's quite important. The reminder part, I find that quite useful. So we'll save that now, and you can see now in our calendar that every week moving forward, same day, same day Wednesday in the afternoon, you've got a meeting. To delete that meeting, it's very easy. It's a matter of double clicking on it and hitting delete, and you can delete only this event, or you can delete all the other events that follow through as well. So it's your choice. We'll leave it like that for now. We won't delete it. We'll allow this. It's just wanting to know our location. You can choose whichever you like. So yeah, that's how to create a meeting and an event within your calendar. Next we'll look at, okay, so we'll do another meeting here. We go to more options, and we're going to, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually invite someone. So we're going to put an invitation in. So we covered this in detail in the other training exercises as well. So this is where, for example, if you wanted to meet someone and you wanted to send them an automatic invitation by email, and you wanted them to acknowledge and accept your meeting day and time, location, this is what we need to do in terms of creating that meeting. So first of all, we put their person's email address in, and then we select the details as to when and what time and what not. Okay, so we're selecting pick a day, Wednesday next week at a certain time, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not going to repeat, it's going to be a one-off meeting. I'll just take this photo. Welcome back, guys. Let's continue with our training. We're creating a meeting at the moment, so we're going to be requesting via email one of our colleagues to attend a meeting. So first things first, we put in a title, which is the purpose of the meeting. We're typing in practice Microsoft Office assignments. We've put our colleague's email address in, which is there. We've selected the dates. We've got the time. Sorry guys for the disruption. So we're putting in the date and time. So we've selected date being next week the 8th. We've got time in the morning, so that's all good. What else do we need? We've got a location. We can put a location in as to where we're meeting. So we've selected Parramatta, and then if we want to add the description of the purpose of the meeting, we can do that as well if desired. That's essentially it. They're the essential information that needs to be put in. Then we hit send, and this will automatically then send our contact an invitation to our meeting, and it will also put it on our calendar, the meeting as well, and then that will actually remind us as well 15 minutes prior that we've got a meeting which is scheduled for next Wednesday. I'll show you what the email looks like. So if you go into the inbox, did you send that email to yourself, Ben, or was it? Did you send the invitation to? Okay, so his email went to somebody else. So he sent it to the other computer internally. All right. So what I'm going to get Ben to do now is I'm going to get him to go onto his other computer that he's emailed to, and I'll get him to reply his acceptance to our meeting. And then what that should do is, once he's replied and he's happy to attend, that will then send us a notification confirming that our recipient has accepted, in which you can see right now. If you go into here, you'll see that the meeting has been accepted. So that's all good. That's what we wanted to see. If you go back in the calendar again, and then if you go into meetings over here, you'll see that this meeting is scheduled, and it's all good. Okay, so that's meetings, tutorial 4. We're going to be looking at calendar once again, setting a reminder. Alright, so we can set reminders on the actual emails that are sitting in our inbox as well, to remind us to obviously follow up. Maybe it could be an important email, for example. So it's quite easy. We just go to inbox, find an email, and then you've got here flag the message. So if you hit that, and then you can flag it for tomorrow, for example, and then automatically it will flag it to remind you that this needs to be executed or looked at by the 7th, which is tomorrow. Okay, so that's a follow-up flag, so we've covered that. Now we'll look at to-do tasks. So down the bottom here, 3 little dots. If we hit the tick to do, so it's another function within Microsoft Outlook. So we hit add task, and it's a simple matter of typing in the task that needs to be done. The Research Works for Your website is the task, and we add that, and then that is added to our to-do task. By clicking on it, then you can put a reminder. So if this task needs to be done or is due by a certain date, whatever the case may be, you can flag that as well as a reminder. So for argument's sake, we're going to do next week for this one as well, and that's been flagged. And you can see anyway the due date is there. So that's what we want to see for that. Now we're going to look at creating an automatic reply. Okay, so this is if you want a more of a detailed understanding of what automatic replies are, you can review my previous email my previous video on Outlook. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to set up a scenario where our Outlook is going to automatically reply to emails that we receive. So first of all, we go to the settings cog again, and we type in auto, and automatically it finds the function automatic replies, and we're going to turn automatic replies on, just as follows. And now we're going to type out what we want to send back to people once they've sent an email to us. So the whole purpose of this is, as an example, let's assume you're going on holidays, for example, for a week, and you want to let people know that you will not be checking your emails for a week, rather than have them assume that you're not being nice to them and not coming back to them on their emails. You can create an automatic reply. So as soon as they send you an email, irrespective of what the email is, it will automatically send a return email back to them, letting them know, as per your message, that you're on leave and that you will not be attending your emails. So it's quite a good feature to have, and it just saves you having to constantly check your emails so that you don't miss anything important. So Ben's just typed out a basic automatic reply. Welcome back, guys. We're finishing up our automatic reply. So we've just finished typing out the information that's going to appear in our automatic reply. Once Ben's typed that out, he's going to save his automatic reply, and once he's saved his reply, we are going to test to see how it works. So what he's going to essentially do is he's going to send an email from his laptop to this Outlook file, and what he should get is a reply back from us, letting him know that we've received his email. So save this, that's good. Now he's going to go to his other laptop. He's going to send himself an email, and what will happen is we should see that email come across on our computer fairly shortly, and upon that happening, he will then reply back to us with the reply so we can see what he would have received. Okay, so that shows us that the email, the test email that he just sent, has come across a moment back. And what will happen now is, if we go into the sent items, no, okay, we're going to see if that automatic reply has been dispatched, and it has, and he's going to email that back to this computer so we can see the automatic reply. So that's the automatic reply there. Ben's just sent us an email. So open up the email for us, Ben, of the automatic reply, so we can see what was received. Yep. Okay, it's going to send it again. It hasn't come across yet. Okay, so here's the automatic reply. It says that automated email, currently at my desk and I'm on leave. So this is basically what he's received on his computer, and he's emailed that across to us so we can have a look at what he's received. And so this is basically what it's all about and how it works. So we've done automatic replies. Now we're going to be looking at creating new folders. We're going to be looking at and how to send and receive works. So folders are very, very important within Outlook, because essentially the difference between your typical Hotmail account is this function of folders, because it enables you to basically sort and store information according to preferences that you may have. So to create a folder, we just simply click on that, and sorry Ben, can you go back? How did you create the folder again? So if you click on the inbox itself, right click on your mouse button and then just create a new subfolder. You can then put in personal as one folder. We're going to do the same thing, right click, new folder, job interview, and we're going to create one more subfolder within inbox. This one's going to be called miscellaneous. And what we're going to do on top of that is we're going to create some subfolders within the job interview folder. So within that folder, we're going to right click again and create a new subfolder, and this time it's going to be jobs applied for, and another subfolder within that job interview folder for rejected. So same thing, right clicking the mouse button, new folder, and rejected. So essentially the whole purpose of this is when you receive resumes for jobs that you've applied for, you can actually store them in these particular folders rather than having them sit in your inbox, and you can retrieve them later on when it becomes appropriate. And the same sort of thing, you may get rejection emails and you may want to store them for later purposes. It's the same process. So we're going to now look at how to grab those emails in our inbox and sort them out accordingly. So for example, the first email, Ben's going to click on that email now, and he's just going to drag it across into the miscellaneous folder like that, and he's going to do a few more for us. So he's going to click on that miscellaneous, he's going to click on this one as well and bring this across to there also. So it's quite a simple process, simply click and drag. Okay, so that's fine, we've covered that. And then we're going to Tutorial 7 about delivery or read receipt. The email the version that we're using at the moment actually hasn't got the functionality. But if you're using another version of Outlook, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, that basically concludes the online version of Microsoft Outlook. Obviously the functionality that I've covered are typical functions that are used on a regular basis. I was going to mention that there is an attached delivery or read receipt function on some of the versions of Office 365. Not all. If you do have that option, essentially it's a matter of once you've received a message, that message or that email has options whereby you can actually request a receipt. And how that works and the purpose of that is so that when you send an email, you know that the person on the other end that's received your email has looked at your email or has actually been sent successfully. So it's a confirmation basically that the email has been delivered. This version hasn't got it, but if your version does have it, we've got a few steps on how this works. And if you have a look at the other video that I created on delivering and read receipts, it actually goes through the whole cycle of what happens and how what you receive and what not. So yeah, thanks for listening, and until next time.